Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Yes, sirree. Yes, yes. What is the best? This podcast you're listening to. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding. If you're new to the podcast to Spit It Out, sorry you had to hear that. That is not what the show is all about. I am just delusional right now. I am going through it, guys. So, second attempt right here. I am going to put that out there, behind the scenes action for y'all. Spoiler. If you guys only knew the amount of stress right now and shit I'm going through. Let me just say, okay, I just tried recording the episode and I got 20 minutes in. I went, you know how I normally record my first 20 minutes. It was going to go to a commercial break, and then I discovered my mic wasn't on. So here we are, attempt number 2. We are back. And anyways, let's get into it real quick. Welcome on back, everyone, to all the previous listeners. And if you're new, hello, hi, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. Welcome to Spit It Out with Jayson Yessir, the podcast of what you've been thinking but haven't been actually been hearing. Let me slow down too, because now I'm already getting flustered and shit, and I'm tripping over my words. Now, if you didn't notice, Miss Tracy Treese, the Bake of the Booty Shaker, is not here once again 3 weeks in a row. No go. And at this point, I'm like, what? Like I said this last week, and I'm really like, just whatever, what the fuck, and especially that I've confirmed. Yes, I'm gonna sit there and put all the business out. I confirmed and everything. You were supposed to be here, and still, I don't know what the fuck happened this week or this time when we spoke earlier and it was confirmed. So she is not here. She will not be here. So it's just me once again, a self-isolated episode. And we're gonna get through. We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna see what's to come. Now I will put it out there right off the bat for you guys. This might be a little bit of a lackluster of an episode, and that is due to obviously me putting things together last minute. Also, I just experienced, like I said, some technical difficulties and all that. So the first 20 minutes already, I had to re-record, and I don't follow a script. As you guys know, I don't follow. Now, we're going to get into a couple things. I don't follow a script more so, and like we're going to leave. Like I might throw some pinpoints through some things in my notes so I can, just get through the episode and things to talk about as into like subjects. So I have things like that, but there was other things I talked about that I'm sure now I'm not going to be able to talk about, or I won't remember and such, and some things I don't have written down that I talk about, and just, it's just all over the place. But anyways, hello, how are you during this quarantine? I hope everyone's doing good and great. It's been now probably going on 2 months, a month and a half or so that most of us been in this. I did mention last week, I noticed people are starting to be more social and in clusters and back out on town. I see y'all. I see all y'all. And all I gotta say is stay away from me. But yeah. So it's interesting. We're still all in the house. I'm sure you guys are noticing things in your house that you didn't notice before. Maybe you found, something that you just never would have realized without, being home 24/7. I wonder if anyone's found something like cool though, like a secret room or a hidden passage or something. That would be cool, right? You bought your house, or you were staying, you're renting somewhere, and you didn't even know this like extra room existed or such. And it without the quarantine, you wouldn't have found this discovery. Can you imagine that though? The funny thing is, I think who knows? I talk about certain things here on the podcast, and I can't remember. I can't keep up. If you guys don't know, like I said, episode 111, we are here. So there is sure some things I've talked about in the past that I bring on up again, or I might have told you a story in the past and tell you again. Now, of course, some things, my, opinions and things change. Time has changed. This podcast has been going now for quite a while. So I might have said something before and I felt a certain type of way about it. Maybe now I feel a different type of way about it. We change, But no, that's not what I'm getting to. What I was getting to was, I might have talked about it previously before, but I'm not sure. But I remember seeing videos and like articles of people discovering pretty much like squatters in their house without them knowing. So if you guys don't know, like a squatter is someone that stays somewhere without paying rent or anything, and people wouldn't know, but there would be like a special room or secret little area that these people would be able to sneak in, find like an entrance, exit, or like come in, come out when they please, but they won't pay rent or whatever, and they're like complete strangers. Like, that's fucking crazy. How would you, like, how could you even imagine, or what would you do if you're in that circumstance where you're living somewhere and say you've lived there for like numerous amount of years or whatever, or not even too long either. You could just live there like 2 years, say, and you think you know all the little ins and outs of your house, your place, or whatever, and come to find out there's someone living in your house without you knowing. So I remember there was this one video that I seen, and someone set up like a hidden camera in their kitchen, and that's how they discovered someone else was living in their house. So I think they were noticing. Now, me and my stories, my facts aren't always correct, so don't quote me, but you can Google it after the show. They were discovering things missing out of their kitchen, like food, grocery wise. They were noticing, like, knowing I ain't eat that stuff, and so they were trying to figure out. They put in a hidden camera, and come to find out, somebody was sneaking out of their kitchen. I think it was like out of the ceiling or out of somewhere, some area. They were coming out of a vent, maybe it was. They were coming out at night, raiding the kitchen, and then go back into the thing. So they ended up catching on the camera and discovered someone else was. And I'm like, that's scary, to be exact. Like, to not know someone is living in your house and they're using up your shit and stuff. Like, also to think about, like, if you're someone that doesn't work for you, you go out, like, you're not during quarantine or whatever, but you got to go to work, you do your normal activities, you go out of town, and you do this, you do that. And during all those times, especially if you got a schedule going, say you work from so-and-so time, 8 hours a day, but then after that you got to pick up your kids, or you do this on every Tuesdays, you go here, or every Thursday your kid has this band practice, where I don't know, I'm just throwing things out there. But those people would start to notice your pattern in your schedule, and then they'll know, like, okay, this is the time where I can step out. I'm not going to get caught. No one's going to find me because they're at work 8 hours of the day. So that is crazy. Like, what is going on while you're not there? And you think, especially too, the crazy thing about it is you go home, you have your humble abode or whatever it's called, and that's your safe space, your safe haven or whatever. And it's like, you would think at, wherever you go, the most safest place would be your own house, and not to even know what's inside your house is crazy. Or who's inside, forget what's inside, who's inside your house. That's crazy. I can't even imagine. See, now I'm going to say this, but there is an opening in my closet that I'm not sure what it leads to. So who knows if someone's living in there? I don't believe so. But I think it probably just goes maybe to like what is it called? Air ducts, the vents or whatever. Who knows? Or maybe there's an attic or something. Now I have two floors, so there's technically 3 floors actually, but like on the main floor, then the second floor. Now I can't imagine if someone else was living. I don't even know where I was getting to some point, and I don't see, that's what I'm saying. My mind is all over the place. I was getting to something about being on the second floor, first floor, second floor, this and that, and now it seems pointless as to why I mentioned that. Anyways, besides all of that, I finally gave in, guys. Oh my goodness. So I'm sure y'all have seen everywhere going around. If you're not, where have you been? Under a rock, locked up inside your house? Well, we all have been. No, but I'm sure you've seen everyone's baking and doing all this stuff and making breads and banana breads. And I finally gave in. I said, you know what? I'm going to be as extra basic as can be, and I'm going to make some banana bread. So I was like, I wonder if, now I don't always bake. I wouldn't even say I don't always bake. I really don't even bake that much. So I don't have like the necessities or the ingredients that you would necessarily need to bake. If you're a baker and you have all this stuff on hand, I don't be having that stuff on hand because I don't be baking. So I'm like, do I even have all this stuff enough to even make this banana bread? So I knew I had bananas. That's first off, main ingredient. I knew I had some bananas in the freezer, because what I would normally do, I'm not sure if you guys do this as well, but if I know my bananas are going to go pretty much bad already, and like I'm not going to eat them in time, and like, or the next couple of days I probably won't feel for it, what I'll do is throw it inside a little Ziploc plastic bag or so, and then put it in the freezer, let it freeze, and then just take it out whenever I'm going to use it. But I had some already in the freezer because I did that like last week or so. I maybe had like 2 bananas left or so. So I put that in the freezer, had that in there. So I was like, oh yeah, that's in there. And now I knew I had 2 other bananas outside of the freezer that I guess you could say room temperature, on the little banana hammock, the banana basket, the fruit basket, and you would hang it off on the top of the thing, what I'm saying? So I had 2 bananas on there, and I went to pick them up earlier, and there I noticed they were already spotted and, like the brown spots, they were getting there. But I was like, oh, they could probably still use a little bit. And I wasn't thinking about the banana bread. I thought about it in the past, but I wasn't actually going for it and trying to really make it. So I was like, I went and grabbed them, and when I went to lift them up, they ended up like starting to rip already. They were so soft pretty much that the stems were just ripping once you picked it up. So I was like, fuck, now I'm going to have to do something with this. But I said, no, never mind. I'm just going to throw these in the freezer as well, put it in a bag and put it in the freezer, and I'll just have extra. But then I was like, I kind of want to try doing this banana bread. Let me see what I have here. And I know there's always, you can find recipes that call for, like missing ingredients, or say, type it in Google or whatever, I'm missing this ingredient for this recipe, whatever, and you can find other alternative recipes. So I was already thinking, okay, I don't have baking powder. I don't have baking soda, none of the bacons. So I'm going to have to figure out a different alternative recipe that's out there that doesn't require that stuff. So I was like, okay, whatever. I ended up finding one, and I was going through the checklist, and it said you needed some butter, some milk, some brown sugar, some egg, what else? Bananas, obviously, flour. Did I say flour already? And I think that was just about it. It was like 6 ingredients or so. So I'm like, okay, I think I have all these on hand. Now, when I was actually trying to discover if I had any of the baking powders or the baking sodas, because I thought there was. And now if you guys don't know, Miss Tracy, the Baker, the Booty Shaker, who was not here, she got the name the Baker, the Booty Shaker, because she be baking. She had made some stuff here at the house one time, and I knew she had some ingredients left over, and I was wondering, So I went to one of the closets that the stuff is stored in, and I checked, and, I thought for some reason that I seen baking soda in there, or baking powder, one of the two. So I was like, oh, okay, that should be in there. But I looked, and I could not find nothing at all, and I was like, fuck. So I can't find it. So that's when I looked for the alternative recipe and found one that said none of the bacon. So I was like, cool. But when I was looking down there, I noticed there was some brown sugar. So I was like, oh, perfect. Some of the other recipes called for brown sugar, so I'll do the brown sugar and all that. So I ended up doing that recipe that called for the brown sugar, the egg, the flour, the milk, and bananas. And I got to the part then where it was to put the egg in. And now I don't buy eggs, guys. I don't consume eggs. I don't eat them. So I don't really buy them. I have no need to buy them. I only buy them like that if I know I'm going to bake something, or something comes about where I know it's going to include or require an egg. That's more or less when I'll buy the eggs. Now, I knew I had some eggs here, but I didn't know how old they were, or if they were expired or whatnot, and if they were even good or whatever. So I was like, oh, let me see. Well, I already started the whole process. I took those frozen bananas out, had them thawing out. Same thing with the butter, the stick of butter that I had that thawing out, whatever. Got the brown sugar out, had that all measured. Flour, starting to measure that. The milk poured, all that. And then the egg, I'm like, oh yeah, the egg. So I open up the container, I go in the fridge, open the container of the eggs, the carton, and there's 3 eggs in there, and I'm like, fuck, let me test to see if these are any good or not. So if you guys don't know, the way to test eggs to tell if they're still fresh or if they're expired, you just put it in a bowl or a cup of water. Fill up with some water, just plain old water, and then drop the egg in there, and if the egg floats or even like raises halfway or any type, it's no good. You need the egg to stay down and sink and not come up at all. Now, if the egg floats, it's because the egg is full of gases. It's expired and it's produced these gases now. So therefore, it's allowing the egg to float to the top. So the egg's expired. You got to throw it away, discard. No good. So I ended up trying, and of course, the eggs were no good. So they floated to the top, and I said, fuck. So I said, well, I'm way too far deep in at this point. I'm going to still make this banana bread. We going to see what it turns into. No egg, with egg, whatever. We going to try it. So I just put it out there. I have not tried it. Actually, I started baking it, and I had to just pull it out. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm all over the place. I started this podcast. I was baking the banana bread, and I knew it was timed. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to have too much stuff to go on for this episode anyways. Might be a little lackluster because, I was prepared for something, and then other things happen. So I'm not sure how long it will be, but it's fine because I'm also baking some banana bread, and I can't be too long because I can't burn down the house. And so I just, was my timing for everything was all over the place. I haven't tried the banana bread yet. I did pull it out. It's cooling off at the moment. I took it out not even like literally 15 minutes ago or so we into this episode. So I took it out 17 minutes ago, 2 minutes before the start of the show. So I don't know how it tastes. I'm excited. I can't wait actually to see how it tastes, but I'm excited to see if there's any difference or what. The egg, what I'm assuming the egg would have done, like most of the time when you add eggs and thing, is just it like works as like a glue, I guess you could say, like, you know, keep things together or so. So all I'm thinking is maybe this bread is going to be more of a crumble, a banana crumble, where maybe you try to cut into it or whatever and it's going to like fall apart. It's not going to really keep its stiffness as a bread you would expect a loaf of bread to do. I don't know, but it's going to be a surprise. We're going to see what turns out. I will definitely share with you guys next week. So you're going to want to come back for that next episode. If you're interested in finding out what's going on with my banana bread, come on back next week and I'll let you know how it tastes and how it came out. And if I could tell any difference from like, I don't even remember the last time I had banana bread, so who knows if I'll be able to tell any type of difference. I know what banana bread tastes like, though, so I could just at least refer to, like, if it's tasty or not. But, yeah, it would be a recipe with no baking powder, no soda, no egg, just bananas. That would have been my next thing anyways. If I didn't really have no ingredients, it would have been like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to mush these bananas up, and we're just going to throw it in a pan and cook it and see what happens. But no, like I said, I'm excited. So hopefully it does turn out good because I don't have no dessert in the house as well. So that's why I decided to make this. Now I'm recording at night. If you guys don't know, I'm recording last minute actually, right before this goes out. You guys know it goes out on Wednesdays and such. I'm recording pretty much last minute because it was, you know, unexpected and unforeseen what was to come for this episode. So I had to put things together last minute. Sorry, you know, it happens sometimes. But what was I getting before I was saying last minute? See, I'm all over the place. I need to just focus on one thing, talk about that, and then move on to the next subject. You would think 111 episodes in, I would know how to, you know, control an episode by now. It's just I have the time going off right here on my computer as I'm watching, then I see people popping in and out and just like focusing on the camera as well. I'm focusing on my notes and then focusing on other things that are popping in my head at the same time while I'm thinking about other things not to forget about and just everywhere. But yeah, so I do got to make a trip to the grocery store. I think that's where I was leading into a trip to the grocery store. As you guys know, I've been, you know, minimal trips throughout this whole quarantine and my grocery trips. So I need to go back. I have meat, I have chicken, but I need to get just like the couple of extra things to, you know, make complete meals and such like that. So I will be hopefully going out a couple of days. Who knows? I don't even want to go nowhere, seriously, to be honest. That's just how I feel. Anyways, we have some more to get into. I'm gonna turn this episode upside down all around, and you guys are gonna be impressed when we come back from the commercial. Okay? I feel like you know what? I think I'm just a little disappointed. I'm a little out of it. You know, the first attempt recorded the 20 minutes. I'm sure the first attempt was much better than the second attempt as well. It's like trying to do something over again ain't gonna happen, right? It's just not gonna come across well. But we do have some other things to talk about later for this episode, so you guys don't want to go nowhere. Just come back. Of course, if you're watching the first 20 minutes right now, youtube.com/Jayson Yessir for the first 20. The rest is all audio only, JasonYessir.com and across all those other platforms. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right